You know that feeling when you hear a song a million times? AC/DC's Touch Too Much. Yeah, we all know it. Or at least we think we do. It feels like this pure, simple blast of rock and roll, right? But what if I told you that under the hood, this thing is a masterpiece of songwriting, production, and, well, performance? Let's dig in and see what's really going on. So that really is the big question here, isn't it? Is this song just another simple, fist-pumping rock anthem about having a good time? Or is there something more? Some kind of hidden tension, a real complexity that's made it last for decades? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's start peeling back those layers. All right, section 1. So, is this the perfect rock song? Let's talk about how a track that seems so straightforward can have such a lasting impact. You know, the real magic of this song is all about this core tension. It's not just a song about desire. It's about that exact moment when desire starts to feel, well, overwhelming. It's that thrilling, almost dangerous feeling when pleasure tips over into too much. You're right on the edge of losing control. And that instability, that tipping point, that's what gives this song its incredible depth. Okay, so how do you actually build a song that captures a feeling like that so perfectly? That brings us to our next section, the architecture of this thing. Let's look at the nuts and bolts that make this rock anthem absolutely flawless. First things first, you have to talk about the riff. I mean, it's the engine of the whole song, right? But it's more than just a cool guitar line. It's specifically designed to create this immediate sense of friction, a momentum. From the very first note, it's just pushing you, building this energy that feels completely unstoppable. And then, layered right on top of that powerhouse riff, you get the hook. Now, if the riff is the engine, think of the hook as the shiny paint job that makes you desperate to jump in the car. It's that part that just instantly gets stuck in your head. And what's so brilliant about it is how precise it is, almost like a pop song. It's sharp, it's clean, and man, is it effective. So you've got the riff and the hook. How do they actually work together? Well, it's a two-step process, really. Step 1, build tension. The verses are rhythmically dense. They feel kind of tight and coiled up, like pressure building. And then, Step 2, release the power. The chorus hits and bam, all that built-up tension just explodes in this huge wave of clarity and energy. It's that feeling of release that makes it so satisfying. But you know, we can't talk about the song's brilliant structure without talking about the guy who was basically the architect, the legendary producer Mutt Lange. And really, it was this incredible collision of two forces. On one side, you have AC/DC's signature, raw, almost untamed power. And on the other, you've got Mutt Lange's absolute obsession with precision, clarity, and making something that would sound amazing on the radio. He didn't try to tame the band's wild energy. He just aimed it. He gave it focus. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. The sound is sharpened, not polished, dull. See, the production becomes this art of creating clarity without killing the tension. He made the band sound massive and crystal clear, totally ready for radio, but they never lost that grit. Think about it. It wasn't about sanding down the rough edges. It was about sharpening them. He managed to make them sound harder and more radio-friendly all at the same time. It's just genius. All right, we've talked about the music. Now let's shift gears and talk about the story and the storyteller. We're diving into the words and the voice of the one and only Bon Scott. And what's so fascinating is that the same tension we heard in the music, it's right there in the narrator of the song. On the surface, he's this totally cool, sovereign rock and roll guy. He's in control, he's experienced, but at the same time, he sounds completely helpless. He's totally overwhelmed, caught up in this state of emergency that he can't really control. He is both the person in charge and the person being swept away. And this is where it's really useful to think about the idea of a persona. It's the character the singer adopts for the song. So we're not necessarily talking about Bon Scott's private life. We're talking about the character he's playing. This lets us dig into this cool yet overwhelmed figure he's created without getting lost in biography. We're focused on the performance, on the art itself. So, how does he get that feeling across? Well, it's all in the language of desire he uses. It's built on a few key things. First, there's hyperbole, right? Everything is exaggerated until it sounds almost unreasonable. Then there's the physicality. The lyrics aren't about deep psychological thoughts. They're about direct physical sensations. And finally, it's all about excess. The normal scale of things just doesn't apply anymore. In this world, too much is the only thing that matters.
And Bon Scott's voice, man, it is the absolute perfect vehicle for telling this story. I love this description of it, a controlled uncleanliness. It's so good. His voice is never polished, but it's also never random. It feels raw and gritty for sure, but every little crackle and snarl feels intentional. It keeps the song permanently right on the edge, perfectly matching that whole theme of teetering between desire and losing control.
Okay, so we've taken the song apart, but what happened after it was out in the world? Let's talk about its legacy, both then and now. Man, this song has had such a long and really layered history. It all starts in 1979 on the iconic Highway to Hell album. But then, just a few months later, it takes on this really poignant meaning, because it was the last song Bon Scott ever performed on TV in February 1980. Years later, in '97, we got a glimpse of its creation with a demo version on the Bonfire box set. And today, of course, its legacy is all over the place. Official videos, archives, even rare live revivals. It's a piece of history that's still very much alive. And hey, this wasn't just some deep cut for the fans. It was a genuine hit. For instance, it hit number 13 on the German charts, which is huge. That just goes to show that killer combination of raw AC/DC power and Mutt Lange's precision really connected with a huge audience, way beyond their core fan base. Now, of course, listening to a song from 1979 today, it can bring up some new questions, right? We have to ask, how do we hear the gender dynamics in this song in the 21st century? Is it just classic rock and roll humor, this sort of over-the-top storytelling? Or, when we listen to it now, does it come across as objectification? There isn't a single easy answer here, and that conversation is actually part of the song's legacy now. So after all that, we kind of circle right back to where we began. The greatest strength of this song is its apparent simplicity. Its genius isn't in spite of how simple it sounds, it's because of it. That simple, powerful riff, those direct lyrics, that incredibly raw performance, they all fuse together to create something that feels immediate and direct, but is actually deeply complex. It's like a perfectly built machine designed for one thing, to hit you right in the gut. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. Touch Too Much is this perfect example of a song that seems so simple but is hiding all these layers of amazing craftsmanship and meaning. So I want to ask you, what song is that for you? What song do you love that, on the surface, seems really straightforward, but the more you listen, the more you realize it's way, way more than the sum of its parts?